Can't do anything. Nobody here.
I'd like to call the meeting of the Commissioners for January 11th, 2012 to order. And the item on the agenda, we have an agenda change a little bit. I'm not sure which agenda you've got, but the update is that Will DeWitt, Sandy McKenzie, Kathy Geary, Robin Reed, Jason Johnson won't be here, he's ill, and Mike Santucci will be here at 10:30. That is the change in the agenda for this morning. This afternoon at 1 o'clock, we'll be meeting with Hales Location, people over at the nursing home, to discuss the input that they may have in regards to the Hales budget.
Sandy.
So we'll go from there. So I'd open it up for public input from anyone. I will say at the beginning, before we get there, that we did have a meeting on January 9th at 12:30. That was this past Monday. The agenda was posted properly. The agenda was only to vote on the installation of the pellet boiler system, which we did. The vote was 2-1. I have contacted Bonapage and Stone. They were going to start immediately. I also got a call from the people who we purchased the pellet furnaces from to find out what the status was, when they were going to be delivered and so forth. And I told him at that time was for him to get in contact. This is Charlie Agnew. Get in contact with Bonapage and Stone, and they will arrange or schedule the delivery time for the boilers when it is appropriate, when they can get the boilers moved right into the building rather than having them set outside or put into some other building. We were concerned that if that should happen or set outside, maybe the warranties or whatever's on the furnaces may be voided if something should happen to them. Have not a clue as to what could happen, but we didn't want to take that chance. So that is, and that was subject to a amendment to the motion that should we find out a waiver of the $75,000 because of Davis-Bacon, that Bonapage and Stone would not be getting that money. When I called him, he wanted to make sure to check on who we contacted regarding the waiver, and I guess I would ask Commissioner Solomon to say a few words about that.
I've been in contact with Senator Shaheen's office regarding the waiver issue. Yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, I received an email stating that they're not going to be able to waive that provision. It's never been done before, and they don't expect that this is going to make them be able to do it. But they are looking into the possible disparity that was discussed about, at least that Randy from Bonapage and Stone brought up regarding southern and northern charges for Davis-Bacon. They're looking into that, and they'll get back to me on that issue. But they don't seem to think that there is any difference.
Okay. We have two subcommittee meetings scheduled for the 23rd. One at 10 o'clock deals with the building committee of the old nursing home. I'm assuming that all of these meetings are open to the public.
When was that?
On the 23rd at 10 o'clock. It will be held here in this room. 23rd, I believe, is a Monday. On that committee is Mark McConkey, who is chairman, Betsy Patton, Harry Merrow, Laurie Pettingill, Frank McCarthy. Requesting other attendees, Steve Schmidt, Karen Umberger, Sandy McKenzie, Carroll County Commissioners, Bonapage and Stone, and EGA.
Okay.
At 1 o'clock,
Cost us to have EGA come.
what's that?
Won't it cost to have EGA come?
It's not my committee, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
There could be a cost of EGA to come, I don't know.
EJ is not on the Old Nation Home subcommittee. EJ is not on.
Well, she was invited, or they were invited, according to this. And then in the afternoon at 1 o'clock, the Carroll County Sheriff's Department Subcommittee will be held for their second meeting. And members, Karen Umberger is the chairman, Betsy Patton, Steve Schmidt, Frank McCarthy are on that committee. So, okay, let's get back to the agenda and for public input. Mr. Albee, you had your hand up.
I did. A couple of things. I haven't been here for a while, but on the Mike Santuccio's coming in for what reason?
Excuse me?
Mike Santuccio.
Mike Santuccio?
I've asked him to come in to a couple of items that come up at the subcommittee meeting. One being the hiring of a prosecutor as to where that fits in the budget. The second item was regards to the 2 Hummers that were all of a sudden appeared at the Sheriff's Department that we were unaware of. I forgot if there was another issue that we asked him to come in about.
Well, I don't know that you asked him for this, but I would like to ask him again to explain this issue about vests.
Oh, okay,
And the replacement of vests.
okay. Go ahead.
Because I remember the last time I was here, the sheriff was here as well, and
Oh, excuse me, the other item was regarding transfer of money for them moving across the hall. We approved them moving across the hall, but we did not approve the transfer of money from one line item to the other in its budget. He requested an additional $15,000 within his budget, and I don't believe, I gotta look at his budget, but I don't believe he has that amount of money in one of the line items. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, that's fine. No, I asked the sheriff about the prosecutor that he's hired, and he testified at that meeting that he hired a part-time deputy, which at the time I kind of let ride because I didn't see any reason to get into a big argument, but I don't think that he was being completely forthright with us with regard to the prosecutor that he hired. First of all, I'm certain that he's not getting deputy pay. I'm positive that he hasn't gone through police training, standards of training. He's prosecuting in Wolfboro, but the long and the short of it is, it's probably a good idea to have a prosecutor. It's a very bad idea to continue this program that Sheriff Connolly seems to be on, of doing whatever he feels he wants to do, without any regard to consultations with the commissioners or the delegation. You mentioned the Hummers.
And the way,
They don't even make Hummers in America anymore, they're made in China. You know, and whether or not he needs them or not is secondary to the point that I don't believe he asked the commissioners.
the way we found out about it was we had a bill come in for $4,100 or $4,200 to paint and repair one of the Hummers, and that's how we first, at least I first found out
And
about it.
that's the genesis for why we have this system of checks and balances, because even if the equipment is free, the cost to keep the equipment, maintain the equipment is not free, and is a bill that the county needs to pay. With regard to the Bonapage and Stone contract, which I applaud you for finally signing, and the Davis-Bacon rule, having watched and seen the quality of people that Bonapage and Stone, Deneron Electric, or Deneron Plumbing and Consolidated Electric hire, it would be interesting, I think, to get a payroll analysis of what they're already paying those people. I'm having a hard time in my mind establishing that there would be a $75,000 difference. Given the quality of the people that they have working for them already, I would sooner say that they're probably already paying close to Davis-Bacon. So I think taking a look at that would be helpful. And hopefully we'll get that installed. Oh, the last thing was, and this is sort of a general statement, but in every other situation where I have gone to a budget hearing, where a budget committee has presented the budget of a town or local government, the agenda or the modus operandi of that meeting is a discussion with the public about the budget. In Tuftonboro, we go line by line, department by department, and questions are asked by the public throughout the meeting. I have yet to see a budget hearing held by any delegation, whether it's this delegation or the previous delegation, which comports with a budget hearing. What we saw the other day was a delegation meeting. There was an asking for public comment at the beginning of the meeting, a protracted discussion by the delegates about any number of things, and then a request at the end of the meeting for any additional public comment. That doesn't comport with my notion, or I believe the RSA notion of what a budget hearing is. So maybe in the future, and traditionally, I guess that's the way it's done, but tradition doesn't necessarily make it right. So hopefully, some year in the future, we could actually have a budget hearing that gave the participant public copies of the budget, talked about the budget completely with the public so that they were fully informed on all of the issues on the budget.
Go ahead, Commissioner Sano.
But you do understand that you're speaking to the wrong people about that. We don't have any control over...
This is the current forum.
Okay.
And I'm sure that any number of the participants will be watching on YouTube at some point in their future.
No question, the purpose of that public hearing is for public input. We have nobody asking questions. The delegates ask the questions, which they should wait and let somebody else, the public, ask the questions. They got their turn later on.
They have ample opportunity between the end of January and the beginning of March to ask all the questions they need to ask, I think.
Right. I do believe we did pass out copies of the budget, though, to anybody here. I hope we had enough copies, but I think we did that.
Too.
What's that?
It's online.
I mean, I had a copy.
I haven't
with
checked.
Me.
Why not?
I had a copy.
I don't know.
I had a copy with me with copious notes, as I generally do,
Yeah.
and calculations, and there was no room for any discussion about anything I might have had issue with, or anyone else in the audience for that matter.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Are the Hummers actually here, or are they?
My assumption is that, yes,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
physically, one was at the repair shop. Whether that's been finalized in here, I don't know. Lieutenant Santuccio on Monday said, I believe that those two vehicles would not be used on a highway because of their mileage,
Right.
how many gallons gas they use per mile, or the other way around.
So their purpose would be what?
One purpose is to have it available for their command center to pull that trailer. The other one, there was no answer given to what the other one would be used for.
Wasn't it like
Other
the-
than that, it wouldn't be used on a highway like a patrol car would be.
Wasn't it like to search the woods or go off-roading?
I didn't hear that.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Go mud.
Okay, any further? Yes?
You said in the beginning that you voted on the boiler, but I'm assuming you meant you voted on awarding the contract?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what you actually, and it
Yes.
was a 2-to-1
Yes.
vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Who voted? How was the vote, how'd the vote fall? Or let me
I
put it this
voted
way,
in
who
support
voted
of it.
against it?
I voted in support of it.
Yeah,
I voted in support of it.
so,
I oppose it.
any particular reason?
I think it